My name is Garrett Bird. I am the district director for the Blackfeather District, Boy Scouts of America. We serve the southernmost district, so Parker, Highlands Ranch, Castle Rock, all of those places, mostly Douglas County. I'm here tonight to walk you guys through the second round of the Wolf Den meetings that are sponsored by the council. So I'm honored to be here tonight with you, walking you through this. Hopefully, you guys have a good time. We're going to kind of talk about a bunch of different things, but for right now, this is kind of the agenda of what we're going to go through. So we're going to do, just like every meeting, the Pledge of Allegiance, our Scout Oath and Law, the Invocation. We're going to talk about what the outdoor code is, and we're going to talk about how to go through those things and what they mean. And I'd love for you guys to have a discussion with your parents about this and your den leaders. So we're also going to talk about the leave no trace principles. And they're very important to what we do. And then we're going to tie some knots because that's what we do in Cub Scouts. And that's what we do in scouting. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully you're seeing this screen here. This will be posted on our Restart Scouting webpage where all of our den meetings are held. So you should be able to pull up this document and work through it with your scout parents and den leaders. You can work through it with your dens. So this is supposed to be on the 15th, so hopefully we're watching that tonight. Again, thank you so much for joining us and being here with us. So we're gonna talk about the requirements that we're going over. This is again part of the Call of the Wild requirement. It's requirements 3 and 5. We did 1 and 2 last month, so hopefully we're sticking on track and doing this stuff like we need to do. But we're going to do 3 and 5, and den leaders, I'll leave it up to you guys to do the fourth one because that's an easy one, and you guys can go through that, even parents with your scouts at home. So not a bad one to go through. This is going to be on page 24 of your Wolf Handbook. So make sure you guys are checking that out and looking at it as we go through this, okay? So the things we're going to accomplish tonight, again, are reciting the outdoor code with your leader, recite the leave no trace principles for kids with your leader, and we're going to talk about how those support the outdoor code, okay? And then after that, we're going to, hopefully you guys have done your outdoor activities. That was supposed to be last month. Hopefully you guys got scout doors and you did that. We're going to talk about how on your outdoor activity or your camp out, the ways that you demonstrated being careful with fire or other dangers. So make sure that we talk about that. And then we're going to show how to tie an overhand knot and a square knot. Okay? So moving along, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I know that's not on the screen right now, but if you follow along with me, here is an American flag. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And again, we should have been saluting. I'm sorry. So Scout salute. We're going to go through the Scout Oath and Law. So let's do the Scout sign. Ready? On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to guide my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. All right. And then we're going to move along to the Scout law. Okay. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And sometimes we add hungry on there. That's a good one. All right. And 2, you can take that down. So every meeting we should be going through an invocation. And this is because we have a duty to God, just like we said on the Scout Oath. Some units do, some units don't. But if you guys would please join me in the manner of the custom of your faith, we're going to say a quick prayer. So, O God, the giver of all good things, grant that we may be good Cub Scouts this day, not only to be good, but also to be good by helping other people. Help us to do our best to live up to the Cub Scout promise. We pray these things in your holy name. Amen. Okay. Moving along, so we're going to talk about the outdoor code. So just like the Scout Oath and the Scout Law, these two things are very important. A lot of times we've been implementing them into all before our meetings and at the beginning of every meeting, because we want to make sure that we keep these on our minds as we are considerate scouts and good stewards of the land that we have. Okay, so the outdoor code, you're going to want to recite this with your den leader, as we talked about in the requirements. So, all right, recite this with me. Okay, the outdoor code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and to be conservation minded. Okay, so those are some big words. Again, as an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, and to be conservation minded. All right, so let's unpack a lot of what we just talked about there. So we talked about being clean in my outdoor manners. All right, so what do you think that means to you? What does it mean to be clean outdoors? I want you to think about that. Okay, for me, being clean in the outdoors is making sure that we are not trashing the area we live in and the earth that we live in, right? Because we have wonderful things here in the state of Colorado and wonderful places, and we don't want to see those go away because they just get trashed by people that aren't very nice, right? And so a lot of times you'll see people that just leave stuff around, trash all over the place. And many of our projects that we do, our service projects, are cleaning up after people, right? We should be cleaning up before and after all of our meetings so we leave the place better than we found it. But we'll go through that again in our leave no trace policy. Okay, so again, think about what it means to be clean in your outdoor manners. All right. All right. Secondly, we want to be careful with fire. As you guys may or may have not noticed, there's been a lot of fires going on in the state of Colorado. Okay, that happened because somebody wasn't careful with fire. And now sometimes this happens naturally, and that's just the world we live in. So you have to be prepared for that. But we don't want it to be our fault. So being careful with fire means that we are setting our fires up correctly and that they're done safely, that they are in a pit and that they have water nearby so that we're not burning anything down and they're not within anything close to dry. And you got to make sure that there's no wind going on when you're doing a fire. You got to make sure that it's really in a safe place. So we're being careful with fire when we have it. And right now there's a fire ban, which means you're not even supposed to have a fire going at all. So make sure you look at your state and county guidelines when you guys go out to your camping trips or you go and do anything. Okay. All right. The third point there, be considerate in the outdoors. Okay. Considerate is a big word. And that means that we're going to think about what we're doing and we're going to take good care of it. Okay, so like we talked about with being clean in my outdoor manners, we're going to be considerate of what we're doing. Are we loud? Are we being loud while other people are trying to have a nice time and really take in what's going on around them? You know, it's been fall, so it's great to get up in the mountains and see all these beautiful, beautiful colors that we have. Take pictures. Be careful. Be nice about what you're doing, and like I said, and have good manners. But we also want to consider other people's feelings and what we're doing while we're outdoors. We don't hit any trees, right? We're not throwing rocks at people. We're not trashing stuff, breaking twigs and things like that. All right, and that kind of follows into our be conservation minded. So we're thinking about conservation and how we keep the things that we have so that we can have them for a long period of time. Okay. All right, so now we're going to talk about leave no trace principles, and these are applied in every phase of scouting. Okay, so we're going to talk about how these translate back to the outdoor code. Okay, so know before you go means that you want to make sure you know exactly where you're going, right? If we're going to go anywhere, we want to know exactly where we're going. We want to have told somebody where we're going. We want to have all the knowledge of the area, mountains, trees, what's going on, where we're going. So that way that if anything happens out of the ordinary, you have an understanding of how to be prepared for that. right? We talk about being prepared too. That's a scout motto. Okay. Choose the right path. You guys will notice that on these at many of these places where we have a lot of trails around the state of Colorado, okay, there are specific trails that you should be following. We're not walking around in the native is what we call it, but it's if there's not a trail there, don't go walking there, because what that does is it hurts the outdoors. That's what being considerate in the outdoors mean, is that we stay on the path that we're supposed to be on, because those were built to make sure that our wildlife stays the way it is, and our wonderful mountains and our wonderful trails stay nice, and they don't just get crazy. Okay, they don't get walked all over, and we continue to have beautiful pastures and flowers that continue to grow. Okay, so make sure you choose the right paths and you're on the right path. So if you have a map, make sure you're on a trail that you're supposed to be on. Right, leaders, that's a good thing to note. Okay, trash your trash. We just talked about being considerate in the outdoors and being clean in outdoor manners, right? We do not want to leave trash all over the place. And if you see trash, if you have gloves on, I think that would be a good time to pick it up right now. We know that it's a COVID world that we're dealing with right now. So you have to be safe and think about what you're doing, right? But if somebody has trashed, if you have the opportunity to clean something up in a safe manner, I would definitely hope that you would do so. Parents and leaders, make sure that you use your right judgment on that. But a lot of times we just see stuff trashed all over the place. If you bring in trash, pack it back out. So that means that any trash that you bring in, if you're going to bring in a bag of chips and you eat those chips at your lunchtime, make sure that you take those back out, that trash bag back out with you. Okay. Leave what you find. Point number 4. So that means we're also being considerate in the outdoors and conservation minded. If you find a bug, or you find a frog, or you find a snake, or things like that, leave it there. That's where it's supposed to be. Okay. Don't take it with you. Don't take those things with you. Leave it where it's supposed to be. That's being conservation minded. Okay. And just like we said, be careful with fire. We definitely want to be careful with fire. We do not want to have any of these blazes that continue to happen, because we're in such a dry climate right now that any little spark can spark a wildfire. Okay. And we don't want people getting hurt, or our forests getting hurt, or any of that. Okay. So be extra careful with your fires. Okay. Respect wildlife. Just like I said, if you see birds flying, or you see squirrels, or you see something like that, deer, don't be yelling at them. Don't be going crazy. If you see other people doing that, that doesn't mean that you should be doing that, right? We need to think about what we're doing. So respect the wildlife where they are. You can take pictures of them and be kind, but let's think about how we're considerate to those wildlife. We're thinking about their better good. We're not throwing rocks at birds or squirrels or anything that we see in a way. Okay. If you see bugs, don't kill them. Let them be. Okay. Just keep walking. Be respectful. Okay. And be kind to other visitors. So that goes back to being considerate in the outdoors and conservation minded. Okay. So we're kind to other people, even if they're not doing things the way that they should be. We still need to be kind to them, right? That's part of our scout law. So think about how to be a good scout and a good steward of the land that we have. And the goal is to leave no trace. So leave no trace that we were ever there. That's what we want to do. If we come to an area, we want it to look better than it was when we got there, when we leave it. Okay. So no trace at all that we were even there is how we want it to be. Okay. So that's how those two things go together. Hopefully you guys have recited that and done all that stuff. I'm going to go back over here to part C, and I want you guys to think about and talk with your parents and leaders and make a list of the ways that you demonstrated being careful with fire or other dangers. Okay, so if you saw lightning or rain, or you guys went up into the mountains and it was foggy, what are some things that you did with your parents or your leader to be careful with fire? Okay, so I want you to think about that. All right. And last but not least, we're going to talk about doing some knots, okay? So I have a knot here with me. Hopefully you guys do too. And we're going to try to do some stuff. We're going to do 2 knots today. We're going to do the overhand knot and the square knot, okay? And both of these things are used for if you stick a rope through a hole and you don't want it to come out. For example, a shoelace, or there's different areas of expertise, but different areas you can use them in. These are 2 very basic knots that scouts can learn, and they're pretty fun to tie. So we're going to do those. I've got 2 sites that I want you to check out. Okay, one of them it's animatedknots.com, and it's very simple. It kind of walks you right through it. So we're going to go through and do that right now. Okay, so this is what the overhand knot should look like. Okay, it should walk you through it. So if we hit play here, I've got my rope. Okay, just like this. Take your rope, just like this. Put it through. All right, and that's an overhand knot right there. Okay, so keep playing that. Go back and forth. I'll do it again. It's a simple knot. You make a loop, and you put your one thing through there, and there's an overhand knot. Okay, so that won't come out if you're trying to pull something through like this. Okay, hopefully they did a good job explaining that. So we'll try this again. Okay, so you do like this, make a loop, pull it through, overhand knot. That's what it looks like. All right. Okay, and the second site that we're going to go look at is the half hitch or the square knot, okay? So if we've tied something around something like this American flag, okay, we're going to try to make sure that this doesn't come out, okay? So square knot looks like this. Whoop, wrong way. Yeah, then it's okay if you don't get it. You get to try again, okay? Sorry, I forgot to hit play. Make sure you guys hit play on this. It'll walk you through it. This is a lot of fun. I like this website a lot. I just Googled kind of what to look for. So parents and leaders, pretty simple, fun to use. So hopefully you guys are finding some good resources throughout this time. Again, use my Den Leader guide here to go through it. It's also in the Den Leader guide on page 39 for the Den Leaders. So again, want to walk through the square knot, and hopefully you guys are getting this done well. Okay. It's actually a half hitch or a square knot. So these are both the same knots. Okay. Sorry, I'm not doing a good job of explaining this, but hopefully you guys are getting it from the animated part. And we'll walk through this one more time. I'll play it again so that you can see it. Make sure you go like that, one through, and then twist it. Play again. Hopefully you guys are learning this just like I am, okay? Alrighty, so we'll go back and we'll talk about what we did. Parents, make sure that you follow along with this. This is what it should look like. I found all of these pictures on netknots.com, so just want to give credit to them. Really good stuff, really easy to go through. Again, we talked about a couple of different things. We talked about the outdoor code and what that means. We talked about leave no trace principles for kids. And then I want you guys to list out the ways that you're careful with fire. We went through our scout oath and law, and then we learned how to tie a couple of different knots. So hopefully you guys have done so. Keep trying those knots. Again, it takes a lot of practice, and I'm sure you'll get to do it. So again, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. My name is Garrett, so if you guys need anything, please reach out to us. Again, this will be on the Restart Scouting webpage. So make sure to follow up with us and make sure to have a good time. Make sure we're having fun in Cub Scouting. All right. Bye-bye.